Odigie, and I'm so excited to be with you one more time. I'm going to adjust this a little bit lower. I think that there's too much headroom. Yeah, see a little bit more of my body. Interesting. I want to be sure we're live on Facebook, so I'll just check it out to be sure. Let's just be sure. Are we live on Facebook? GTX one. Yes, welcome to the Beetle Show with TMO. I'm so happy to have you join us live. And I have a story to share with you today. I want to share this link to get many other people joining us. And as much as possible, you also do the same. So share the show. The title of our show for today is, Will You Disinherit Your Spoiled Child? So we were already online before I had technical glitches and I went off. I'll just start afresh again. On this show, we talk about how you can make more money, how to invest your money wisely, and the opportunities present in the real estate industry. So that's what we're here to do. And I'm excited to take you on a journey that would help you learn. So sit back, relax. We are about to learn a lot and gist generally together. So if you're joining me on Facebook, I want you all to connect. I want you to connect, share the link, share the link, share the link, share the link. Let us share the love. Let's get many more people into this family. Yes, let's get many more people into the family. Thank you all so much for joining. If you have any questions, I'm going to read out your questions. If you have any contributions, I'm going to read out your contributions. I just want to really, really connect with you. So here's the story I want to share with you today that is bringing us this question. So as it happened, sadly, there's a story where before a man passed away, he had given all his property, not to his two children. He gave all his property to his wife, who happens to be the mother of the two children. As we would have it, it went viral online that the woman took possession of the property and said that she wanted to set up an orphanage in the house. This house happened to be very eyebrow area of Abuja, everywhere, tush. And this particular set of children didn't want that. They were looking forward to living in that house. They didn't want to convert their house into an orphanage. They didn't want to convert their house into something that was going to be for charity. But the woman insisted that she wanted to convert the house into an orphanage. She wanted to bring in more children into her life, and she wanted to use the wealth of her husband to take care of many children, as opposed to just taking care of her two children. And here's the backstory to why that will happen. So let me tell you the story. Two boys born to a wealthy family, studied in high tush schools in Nigeria. Then they went after their secondary school in Nigeria, went to the US to study, did their master's, did their degree and their master's in the US in very good schools. But these two children, while they were in the university, fell out of favor with their parents because they became a bit rough around the edges, became very westernized and American. They didn't want to come back to Nigeria and they were all chilling in the US. As the parents got older, they realized that they needed to clean up the affairs of their business. So the parents realized that there was nobody they could hand over the business to, even though the business was successful. It was a successful furnishing business. But the children said they were living in the US and they were cool. They didn't want to have anything to do with the family. Apparently, they were all on allowance. So when the man couldn't hand over the business to his children officially, he decided to sell his business and cash out. When he did that, he put the money in trust and was living off the profits from his money. These children used to have monthly allowance in America. They were not working in the US. They were living there after their study and they were not working. So what they decided to do was come back to Nigeria. When they came back and found out their father had sold the business, they were not happy because they felt like this business was going to take care of us. So if you sold the business, how do we they've been living off their father since forever, and they were already in their late 30s, but they are unable to take care of themselves by themselves. They were living off their father. Before the father passed on, he stopped paying them allowance every month and said that they would get something every year, but not every month anymore. When the father died, the mother decided to convert their mansion into an orphanage. She moved into the BQ and stopped funding the life of her children entirely. And so she posted online that parents should stop nurturing spoiled children. Do you agree with that? As a parent, at what point should you cut off from financing the lifestyle of your children? That's the reason we're having this conversation. Because as we go older, or for those who are living up their parents, you must note that at some point in time, your parents will stop sending you money every month. How are you preparing for that time? Would you be angry if your parents stop sending you money every month? Or would you be happy? Would you be able to take care of yourself without your parents' financial support? And if you as a parent, do you Sorry, network glitch. This is Nigeria. Anyway, so for those of you just joining the conversation, it's a Beetle Show with CMO where we get to talk about investment. We're going to talk about real estate. We're going to talk about money and how to ensure we multiply our money, we make more money, and most importantly, we don't lose our money. So here's the thing. I was having a conversation with you all. Thank you for staying tuned despite the network failure. I appreciate you all. So we're having a conversation concerning how and when to inherit a child. Should you do it? If you have a 4-year-old is no longer a child. So in the first perspective, who is an adult? An adult self, responsible care of him or herself. So if you are an adult, is not based on age alone, it's based on your ability to be responsible. And there's a story I shared about a mother who disinherited, she's already in their late 30s, and they always lived off their parents. So when the man died and gave his property, not the children directly, but gave the property to the mother, the woman converted the mansion in Abuja into an orphanage and decided that she was going to use the money she was collecting from the estate to take care of herself and the other children should take care of. And she's cut off paying her children a monthly allowance they used to get from the parents before. So I'm asking the question, was it right for the woman to stop paying them monthly allowance and disinherit her children? Is that the right thing to do? will you as a parent, what point do you believe is okay to stop paying your children monthly allowance? At what age? And would you be comfortable with your children living in your house in their 40s? Lots of questions. Let me check what you guys are saying before I give you my opinion. Let me see what you guys are saying, then I'll give you my opinion. What are you saying? What do you think? Should an adult be living off his or her parent? Should an adult be living off his or her parent? And I am Tope. Let me see what you guys are saying. Nice topic. Your dress is beautiful. I wasn't asking you concerning my dress. I was asking you concerning my topic. So, guys, if you're with me, put it in the comments right now. I want to know how many of you are with me and what you think. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? At what age should parents cut off from paying their children monthly allowance? At what point should parents cut off paying monthly allowance to their children? All right, let me start a watch party. Let me see if I can get more people to join. So I'm trying to read up on your comments. So for me, personal story, let me share my personal story concerning what I believe parents should do before I go further. I believe that as children start growing, parents need to stop giving their children money without attaching value from the children. I think that's where you start from. Money should be attached to a value. Of course, I totally support gifts. Someone just sent me money to just support me for the weekend just a few weeks ago. So I'm really happy about that. I appreciate gifts, but we must differentiate gifts and allowance. And if you're giving your children allowance, there must be parameters to warrant that allowance. You must merit the money getting. So if your parents are giving you money without creating boundaries and parameters and prerequisites for why you should get the money, then they are preparing you to be spoiled. And if you are a parent watching me, or you have parents, or your kids are still small, you need to understand that you must groom your children to place priority on value in exchange for money. Nothing comes for free. So if you are going to give someone money, even if this is your child, you must attach it with value. I'm hosting this show for GTEx, I get paid for it. So if I do anything extra, I get paid for it. If GTEx decides to dash me money, it can happen one-off, but there must be prerequisites before any allowance is given. And I believe that is the bedrock. So the question for today is, would you disinherit a spoiled child? I'll tell you, if your child is spoiled, it's mostly because you didn't provide the person principles and structures and guidelines for the person financially. And how can you undo that? If you've always given your child money without any prerequisite, stop. If you've always given your child or your children money without any prerequisite, any requirement, any laid down rules of what they're supposed to do, even if it is you must wash your plates, you must arrange your rooms, you must arrange your shoes, you must do your homework. If you want a new phone, you must finish, you must be in the percentile in all your exams. You need to have parameters attached to what you're giving. Of course, there is the shared gift you give as a parent. I just love you, my child. I will feed you. I just love you, my child. I'll give you shelter. But other than that, every other thing you're going to get from me, you need to work for it. So these are the principles we need to put on ground to prevent our children from getting spoiled. Now, if your child is already spoiled, is where I started from. If you feel your child is spoiled and your child is entitled, your child comes to you and be like, Mommy, I want the latest iPhone, or I want the latest Samsung, or daddy, I don't want this. I'm tired of this car. If you have entitled people with entitled mentality as your child, relative, we have in the black taxes where people, black community, human beings of this shade have to take care of relatives and pay a consistent amount of money to nurture those around them. I am all in support of charity. I think it is good for us to give, but I think it is also extremely important that even as we give, we understand to attach value to what we are giving. So if you're giving your children anything, ensure parents have a house, I have it. The fact that your parents have a house does not mean that you have it. It's not yours. Car does not mean it is your own. It is your parent country. Does not mean you own the building. And unless you have earned it, you would say that my parents are wicked. They don't take care of me. They don't give me. What are you doing for them? Life is give and take. You need to offer value to get something back in return. So are you offering value? How are you adding value? So obviously, you know the answer to my question already, but I still want to hear what you have to say. I still want to hear what you have to say. Would you disinherit your child? Would you disinherit your child? I still definitely want to. I still want to hear what you have to say. Would you disinherit your child? Hello, where are my people? If you're watching me, say hi. If you're watching me, say hello. If you agree with me, say I agree. And if you don't, say I don't. If you agree, let me know what you think. Let me know if you believe that children should work for every allowance they get. House chores. Let me know what you think. If you agree that children should work for every money they get. Gabriela, thank you for checking in. Let me know what you think. Should children, is it right for parents to ask children to work for every money they get? I want to read from you. So please comment, guys. If you're watching, comment. Should you agree that parents, do you agree that parents should attach responsibilities? Do you agree that parents should attach responsibilities to every allowance they give? Because I think that this is the key. This is why. No, they shouldn't. Oh, wow. Brother Kiyemi says no, they shouldn't. So you believe parents should not attach responsibilities to the income they give? So some people are of the opinion that every parent, if you've given birth to a child, you are responsible for that child. And you must take care of that child regardless. I don't agree with that. I believe that, yes, you are responsible for the child to provide them food, shelter, and education, clothing, those basic needs. Food, shelter, clothing, education. Those for me are like the 4 key things parents who owe you. Your parents don't owe you trips abroad. Your parents don't owe you any inheritance. It is a good thing as Christians for us to leave inheritance for our children's children. But it is wrong for any child to expect that my parents are working for me and my parents are living for me. And the fact that my parents already have land, I don't need to hustle. That's entitlement mentality, and that is wrong. And that is a sign of being spoilt. And such people should be disinherited. If you don't agree with me, put it in the chat on Facebook. I want to hear from you and I want to know what you think. But like I was saying, it is very, very, very important that you, as a parent, raise your children to be responsible. You must raise your children to be responsible. So if you believe, what do you think is the responsible? And if you're watching, say hi, 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 hi. Everyone of you watching, I love and I appreciate your time. But I want us to have this conversation. And so it has to be interactive. I want to feel you and I want to communicate with you. Do you believe that parents should leave inheritance for a spoiled child? Or do you think a spoiled child should be disinherited from the estate? That's number one. Answer me. I'm waiting for you on Facebook. Bible says it's a blessing to leave inheritance for your children's children. Even if children are spoiled, should you leave inheritance for spoiled children? That's the question. If the child isn't responsible, they would fritter away your inheritance. Is it not better you give the money to another person that will maintain the wealth and increase it than leave it to your children who will spend the money? Let's start. I want to hear from you. I'm really enjoying this conversation, and I think Gabriel is my time. Gabriel, let's have it on. I've just quoted. Yes, I quoted the verse. What I'm saying is that, and why I'm quoting the verse, because I think it is important to put things in perspective, because we tend to quote the Bible and we quote it wrongly and we quote it out of context. So if you're watching me, I want you to comment right now. Do you think children should be disinherited if they are spoiled? Or do you think parents must leave inheritance for their children? Who says? What if your parents decide to give their inheritance to their neighbor's child because their neighbor's child is more responsible than their own child? What if a parents decide to give away their entire wealth to the church for the propagation of the gospel? What do you think? Is that right? Is that wrong? Comment. However, I do not support spoiled child. However, would train the child to be irresponsible? Yes. I think that children are a scorecard on our training. Every parent must endeavor to deposit the true right values in their children. And if you are able to do that, those children are a reflection and a result of the failure you have experienced. So it is very important that you as a parent must leave specific inheritance for your children. And the inheritance is not financial. I feel the inheritance is moral. The best inheritance any parent can give his or her child is value. What is the value you are giving your children as a parent? What is the value that you get from your own parents? One of the values I got from my parents is the value of hard work. You all watching me, you have no idea how busy my day has been. But one of the values I have gotten from my parents is hard work and faithfulness. It means that no matter how tired or how busy my day is, I have a commitment to check. And so I will fulfill my commitment regardless of what happens. It means even if I'm sick and weak, I will do my, if I'm for you guys, believe me, I am probably rolling on the floor because I have been brought up with the commitment of being faithful, of integrity. Those are the inheritance I've put in me. My parents are still alive, glory to God, but my parents have put in me inheritance that cannot be taken away. The inheritance of value, faithfulness, positivity. I'm always joyful and happy. It is because my parents have brought me up that way. And these are the inheritance they've given to me. They've given to me the inheritance of being faithful, of being truthful, of being hardworking. Oh my God, my parents are hard workers, and so am I. And for me, those are more important inheritance than the money we're talking about. So yes, Gabriel, you're right. The parents should have raised their children well. But what happens when you don't? Should you inherit your child if you do not know? Or children are influenced by few things. Number one, children are influenced by parents. Number two, they are influenced by their environment. Number three, they are influenced by their the social as environment. Number three, they are influenced by their peers. They're influenced by their peers. So if you as a parent, you've done your best, but other support system around you have watered down the good value you try to pass on to your children, what do you do at that point? Really, what do you do? Do you stop? Do you give up? No, you don't stop. You don't give up. You strive on and you continue. You continue and continue consistently because you understand how important it is for you to be a person of true value. So parents don't give up on children. They keep on working on them. They keep on tweaking and pushing and fighting. But when it comes to inheritance, Gabriel, children are blessings from the Lord, and they must be guarded until they are able to stand. So, the truth about the matter is that every parent is responsible for raising a child. And the question for today, the conversation for today is centered around, should you disinherit a spoiled child? Of course, for a child to be spoiled, it means that the parents have messed up somewhere. Permit my French, they have goofed somewhere. And if the parents have goofed somewhere, isn't it the right thing to do to help them walk back from that goof? Help them retrace their steps from that goof. And in retracing their steps from the goof, what do? You don't give them free money anymore. Nobody should be getting free money. Of course, I do believe there should be gifts, but there shouldn't be free money. So because of time and because I want to ensure you get value, you might not necessarily agree with everything I want to say, but I want to tell you these few things. Number one, I agree with every one of you that believe that it is the responsibility of parents to raise the children. But I also strongly want to inform every one of you that it takes more than the parents to raise the child. The influence of your house girl, your house boys, your nephews and nieces that stay with you. There's the influence of teachers. There's the influence of friends. And there's the influence of the society at large. And all of these people contribute to how well a child turns out. And taking those who have influence over your children, because your children in sports, most likely you were an absentee parent or a non-concerned and involved parent, or a parent whose external influences outweighed their own influence on the child's life. Or maybe you were a sports parent. All our children look at us more than they look at what we do more than what we say. So in most cases, if your child is spoiled or your children are spoiled, it's because you were spoiled and they copied you rather than listen to what you say. So that's on one end. The second thing is that right from when a child can understand right from wrong, you must build the system into your child so that your child understands and appreciates value for money and exchange of value. So I want the wig, I create value through doing makeup. I make money from makeup and use the money to acquire what I want, a wig. Value exchanging. If I expect that the wig person just likes my pretty face and decides to give me a wig tent, that you as a parent raise your children to understand the value of money and understand you work for money. My kids know I have like 3 jobs. When I say I'm going to work, they say, is it the TVC work or the makeup work or the farming work? They ask me. They ask me because they know mommy has multiple ways she makes money. You need, even my 4-year-old knows, you need to let your children understand that there are multiple ways to make money, and you can decide on what you want to do, but don't expect free or grade up, which means you must raise your children impossible task, but it's something they can. We need to breed this into our children right from when they are, and correct it. You can correct how you raise your children so that they understand the value for money. Your children need to understand when they break. Okay, so I have this right here on my bedside table. This is like a diffuser. So I have the diffuser. If anything, when I wanted to buy this diffuser, it cost me money. So if my children say, "Oh, mommy, we want a diffuser in our room," I let them understand the diffuser cost $45. And when I bought it in the US, I paid the $45 because I did makeup in America. You make them understand that I did a job, I got paid, then I bought the diffuser. If you spoil it, what you spoiled is valuable. So we must teach our children to understand the value attached to everything they get. Like I said earlier, the things you owe your children: food, shelter, clothing, and education. Those are the things I believe you owe your children. With those four things, your children can take care of you in old age. Give them the right values. It's very important. So, moving on, I want to also explain this thing. It is important as parents to deliberately give your children inheritance that is not value, that is not physical, or give them the intangible inheritance, give them true value. So in my family, I have been brought up in faith, I've been brought up with integrity, I've been brought up with positivity. So I carried over those core values that my parents put in me specifically. So my children know this is our core value. We are brought up with, we have faith, we have integrity, we have positivity. Then I added another one, growth. I deliberately add, so my children understand that anything you don't know, you can learn, you can grow. And they know in life you must continue growing. I let them know mommy is always learning, mommy is always reading, mommy is always studying, mommy is always listening to YouTube videos, because mommy needs to grow. Daddy is always studying, daddy has his books, he's always reading his books. Daddy needs to continue growing. You never stop growing. These are intangible values that would help the tangible ones if you end up giving it to your children. So DJ Markwell says, them get when spoiled children, I don't understand. But let me just say this. Give your children the intangibles, because if they have the intangibles, they will not waste your tangibles. There are many people that we know whose parents, we know names, those big names we used to hear of, but we cannot identify where the children are because the children are unable to sustain the kind of wealth their parents have. So what do? You give your children the intangible values and them capacity. How many of you have read The Richest Man in Babylon? How many of you have read The Richest Man in Babylon? If you've read The Richest Man in Babylon, put yes, I've read it, yes, I've read it, yes, I've read it. I know we're a few minutes delayed. Have you read The Richest Man in Babylon and you understand the story of how the richest, there was a part in that story, The Richest Man in Babylon. There's a part in that story where the guy told the story of how his father gave him money and sent him away from Babylon and sent him to another city. And when the man sent him to another city, the money that he got from his father, he wasted it, had to learn to value the tablets where the father wrote the principles of money, and they worked his way back into wealth, then came back home. That's the way we should raise our children. I think every one of you watching me needs to read The Richest Man in Babylon. Read it again. Read it again. Read it again. And the reason I'm asking you to read it again is because it is very, very, very important that we use the principles as taught, because Richest Man in Babylon talks about wealth. So I can't teach a show on inheritance about wealth and I'm not talking about Richest Man in Babylon. It is important that every parent reads it and we know how to raise our children to be money, but not to see it as said, my parents gave me the inheritance of integrity. I have contentment too. I'm a very contented person. But back to what I was saying, the story of the richest man in Babylon shows parents letting go of their children. You see, when you prematurely give money to children, they will mismanage it and it makes them get spoiled. I think that it is important, and this is my own submission. It is important that maybe at the age of 21, the children no more get allowance. At the age of 21, you are no longer a child. From 18, you can vote. Grace period is 18 to 21 for you to get your acts together. From 21, even if you are still in school, the only thing I as a parent will owe my children at 21 is school fees. Everything you sort yourself. I will teach you how to sort yourself. I will give you the skills you need. You will know how to barb. My husband was a professional hair barber. He could cut hair very well. That was how he was paying other bills in school. I knew how to do makeup. I used makeup to pay other bills in school. The truth is, it is important for us to teach our children the value of money. And at the age of 21, even if you are in year 1 or you are in year 5, you are in 400 level, whatever year you are in school, whatever level you are in school, at 21, I think children should stop getting allowance. I think from 18, they should start having the basic allowance and then the value allowance. The value allowance means that maybe you are balancing my account book. And I know someone that did it. I know someone whose daughter started doing his accounting from SS1. Immediately the girl got into GSS1. The girl already knew about Excel. She was good. She went into SS1 and went into accounting. By SS1, she was balancing the account. She was doing tax returns for her father in Nigeria. That was how she was earning the extra. So she had basic, but any extra income was from the work she was rendering for her father's company. She was paid as an accountant even before she finished secondary school. Of course, she went on to study accountancy in the university, Babcock. She finished with. She's doing her master's right now in is it Ireland, Dublin? I think it's in Europe. What I'm telling you is personal. I have seen it work. And if you follow these principles, you will raise responsible children. You need to let your children understand the value for money, and they should understand how to work for it. And at 21, I believe, cut your children off allowance from 21. Don't pay them allowance at 21. If they're not working, give them a job. Give them a job to earn that money. So, someone says, I have a son of 14, but with attitude problem. What can I do, please? I believe that 14, teenagers act up a lot. I think the conversation needs to happen almost every other day. You must have a conversation with your child to let your child understand, I don't owe you anything. What I owe you is shelter, food, education. Those are the core things. Clothing, 4 things you owe. Find someone, my friend, whose parents put her in a private school. And at this age, she was acting for her parents took her away from private school and put her in a public school for 1 term. By the 2nd term, she became very humble. She was begging her parents that whatever you want me to do, I will do for you. The day school, it wasn't the public school they took her to opened her eyes to the opportunities that she had, that she was thinking, I don't get to travel out all the time. See, you need to let your children see the reality of the suffering around. Let your children go to orphanage homes. Let them volunteer there every weekend. On Saturdays, drop your child off in the morning at orphanage. Pick them up later in the evening. Just be sure it is an orphanage that has good morals. Let them walk. Let them volunteer. We need to force our children to understand these values in this country. It's something we lack in Nigeria. those in the diaspora, the people in the US and America, they know when you're in college, you work, you take college, you take loans for your education, and you work for your upkeep, even when you are in school. So it's important, essential, that if your 14-year-old child is acting up, you have a sit-down conversation with the child and you show the child what life is. Yoruba will say, "Jekori aye." You know, a lot of times we are sheltered. I was very, very sheltered. I did not know what life is until I finished university, and then I almost got married. Before, even I think I even got married before really seeing life, seeing suffer, seeing how to balance accounts. You must expose your 14-year-old child to life. Even I am exposing my 8-year-old twins to life. Yesterday, I opened the door. I took my kids to downstairs around 9 o'clock so that they will see where the security men in my house sleep. Security men sleep outside on the mats on the floor. And I told them, I said, can you see? This is how people sleep. People sleep on the mats on the floor. In case you don't know. Side. So you must let your children see, able to relate with the level of. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll still continue with the gist. So, as I was saying, value. Let them understand value. Let them understand value. And then at 21, cut off allowances that is not in exchange for value. Any allowance that is not in exchange for value at 21 should. I think that as parents, I know someone who is living in his parents' house at 45 years old. It doesn't matter, but it's just not a good place to be in. And I prayed with the parents that God will help him to settle. But I think that if you are watching me and you're an adult living in your parents' house as a full adult, think about it. Move on. Let's feel the life. Feel life. Life happens. You know, move on. Feel life and ensure that even as you are feeling life, you are walking your way upwards. Because guess what? Somebody in your situation is an orphan. Some people are orphaned. If you were orphaned, you will survive. If your parents were not living in cities, you will survive. So I want you, if you are an adult living off your parents, you are not an adult until you are responsible. Start being responsible from now. And if you're a parent thinking of disinheriting your children, I think you should read The Richest Man in Babylon and the story of how the man sent his son to another city to learn about life and money before coming back to inherit the property. Let them sample life and come back. I want to see if I have any further comments here. Oh, somebody is saying story for the gods. I don't know what you mean by story for the gods. So I don't know. You don't agree with me. You don't agree with me. If you don't agree with me, put it in the comments. I would love to hear from you. But that's all I want to share with you for today. I strongly feel that you can and you should disinherit spoiled children. Personal opinion. I also believe that a child being spoiled means that you as a parent didn't do all that you could have done. And I think that it starts from you, from the beginning of raising your children, to infuse in them the values that are intangible. Because it is those intangible values that would help them make good use of the tangibles you end up giving them. Don't forget, you that are watching me, you can become a GTEX consultant. You can enroll for GTEX consultancy program, where you would earn 10% off every investment you bring anybody to sell. So let me quickly give you this gist. Let me get closer to the camera. Come closer. Let me tell you. As a GCP member, every real estate sale through marketing, you would earn 10%. It means if you sell land of 2 million, you get 200,000 naira immediately. You can earn 6 figures. Actually, you can earn 9 figures. You can earn millions just by joining GCP program. So if you want to know more about the GCP program, comment. I will give you the link right on this video. Comment on this video. I'll share the link with you. It is a link that would take you into a group where you get to learn how to sell real estate. See, the truth about life is everybody needs to make more money, don't you? If you want to make more money, say, I want to make money. Say it. I want to make money. I want to make money. If you want to make more money, then you should expand your income bracket. And real estate is one of the easiest way to do that. So for you to expand your income through real estate, simply enroll for the GTEX GCP program. That's the GTEX consultancy program. And within that category, you'll be given the skills. You attend trainings free. And when you sell, you get to make money. So use the link below to get into the GTEX consultancy program. Also, I have a fantastic promo for every one of you watching me right now. Beryl extension is going for 5 million naira for just 24 hours. Beryl extension is for 5 million naira for just 5 million naira for the next 24 hours. If you want to know more, call my number on 070 6135. I'll put the number in the caption. I think I should just put it now. In the GCP 070 6119 3522. That's 070 6119 3522. That takes you straight to TMO. You can join GCP through. I'll send you the link on the video right now. And if you want to grab the offer, Francis, a 14-year-old child, talk to you. Invest for your child for 1 month. Have a chit chat with you, even if it is just 5 minutes. Just sit down. It's not beating, not with cane, not by fighting. Just chill. Give him a juice or give her juice and have that conversation. It'll go a long way. Now, I just someone pinned my, yes, I put up my number. If you want to get the Beryl estate, Beryl is going for 5 million. That's 4 million naira off. Beryl is usually 9 million naira. And right now, you can get 4 million naira off Beryl estate. If you call the number in the caption right now, call the number. I just put my phone number there. And if you call that number, you would get 4 million naira discount on Beryl estate. Farouk, I want you to record this area for me out. Get 4 million naira off Beryl estate to you for 5 million naira. Beryl estate is in Ibejuleki, Lagos, and it is the new Lagos. That is like the hub of, that's like the future Lagos that I believe every one of you should catch into and invest into. Thank you all for watching the show. I know you've learned something and you've enjoyed. After watching the show, please share the link. The video will still be up Facebook and your friends can watch and will definitely learn something. Thank you all so much. I'm happy to connect with you. Thank you for complimenting my hair. Thank you for complimenting my dress and tuning to me. I love you all. Bye.